My name is Damer Mohideen. I'm working in Nexus Solution as a technical consultant. So today we'll be having a webinar on the topic of spine and leaf architecture based on Nexus and DCNM. Okay, let's start with our agenda first. In our first slide, we have Nexus switches, different models of Nexus switches, deployment methods, what we can use, the different types of deployment methods and challenges of three-tier architecture, benefits of spine and leaf architecture using Nexus switches, licensing, important concepts and DCN. Let's discuss one by one. Let's start with our Nexus switches. In our Nexus switches, we have why we use Nexus switches in the data center. There is a question which the customer used to ask us. The answer for this question is these Nexus switches are designed for the data center requirements. It will take care of your high availability, high performance, infrastructure scalability, operation continuity, all these things. And it can be deployed in various data centers, just like if you're having an enterprise data center or an service provider data center or a multimedia data center. So for all these regions, the Nexus or Nexus switches are best fit for that kind of data center requirements. So let's go into our next slide. In our next slide, I am going to discuss on the topic. I will compare three-tier architecture with the spine and leaf architecture. What are the challenges we have in three-tier architecture and how these challenges are addresses in your spine and leaf architecture. So when you see the three-tier architecture, it is divided into the three different levels: access level, aggregation level and core level. In the access level, what we'll do is we will connect these switches directly, okay, switches or endpoints directly to the access switches, and these switches will only transfer the data from your server or endpoints to the core for the routing, where you want to move your data to the next VLAN or you want to take your data outside of your network completely. So access switches are used for just like giving the connections, the number of ports, increasing the number of ports. So when you go into the aggregation layer or the distribution layer, which is basically mean for your quality of service kind of stuff or routing kind of stuff. So here the second level of configuration will take place, where you will add the little bit of brain on the Nexus switches. Then we have last layer, that is the core layer. In this we will have all the control plane and management plane traffic moving, and we will make the management of entire network using your control plane or core switches. So what are the challenges we have in this three-tier architecture is, as you can see, it is not a completely or fully mesh architecture, it is a partial mesh architecture, where if you have a loop in the network, it will block. Why? For an example I have given here, I have connected a server to two different access switches. Now, even though I am connecting two different links to two different access switches, here the STP rule will come into play and block one of the link because it is forming a loop inside a network. So this architecture has one drawback, or you can say one challenge is you cannot have multiple active links connected to a same endpoint. So because it will form a loop. So that's why the STP will come into play and block one of the ports from the endpoint. To address that issue, I will tell you what we are doing in the spine and leaf architecture. So let's see what we are doing in the spine and leaf architecture. Here you can see these leaf switches are directly connected to the spine using a mesh network. So every leaf is connected to every spine, so that all the leaves and their links are active all the time. So you have proper distribution of traffic, and you are not wasting your port as you are wasting one of the port into your three-tier architecture, and you will not be having active redundancy. Here you will have an active redundancy because your every link which is connected from your leaf to spine is in use. So you will say how the traffic management will occur. We will use here the ECMP protocol. ECMP protocol is nothing but your equal cost multipath protocol, which is used to traverse the traffic from leaf to the spine. So basically, before NVM process, there was a challenge while using the spinal leaf architecture. That is, even though you have multiple links, active links, the leaf can send the data on the same link multiple times, and which can make your network more congested. Okay, so to address that problem, Cisco comes up with a process known as NVM process, which act on the ECMP protocol, which makes the routing intelligent. So that's how your network entire fabric become non-blocking, and you can send the greater amount of much more increased amount of data and distributed amount of data on each link on the leaf and spine fabric. So that's how we will eliminate the chances of using STP by using ECMP or NVM process, so that the traffic will not be congested anytime. So let's go to the next slide. That is our license package slide. Here we have three license packages: Essential, Advantage and Premium. In the Essential package, we have fabric management features, fabric service features, routing and switching features. These are the basic features you will have in the Essential package. In the fabric management, just like we will use a dedicated manager to control the entire fabric, that is known as data center management network manager, which is used to control all the fabric, which we will discuss in the later in the slide. We have entire few slides on basically on the DCNM itself. So next is your fabric service features, ICAM, ITD. These are the protocols or the technology which collects your logs, and it also gives you the health of the fabric. Health of the fabric can be collected by using this ICAM and ITD. Okay. Next is routing and switching. In the routing and switching, as you all know, that we have different layer 3 unicasting and multicasting protocol, which can be used to establish a connection between your leaf and spines. So last is your telemetry feature. The telemetry feature is telemetry is a technology which collects all the logs from your switches sensors, so that it will send those logs to the manager and NMS tools, so that the manager can use the analytics to check to get the results from that log. For an example, you can get all the how much data is flowing inside your interfaces, what is the temperature of interfaces. All these logs will be gathered by telemetry feature. Okay. So next type of licensing package we have is Advantage licensing package. In the Advantage licensing package, we will use all the features of Essential package by adding some more additional features. Just like if you want to use layer 3 VPN, MPLS layer 3 VPN, or you want to use DCI overlay features, these are the advanced features which you will not get in the Essential model. If you want to do that, if you want to use multi-site VPNs at that time, you have to use the Advantage license. Essential license will not have that capability. So okay, the first one was Essential, second one was Advantage, and third is Premium model. In the Premium model, what we have, along with Essential, Advantage features, we will add few more analytics to the logs by using your Network Insight Advisor, Network Insight Resources, Network Assurance Engine. So Network Insight Advisor is a tool which is used to get you all the advices such as whether your patch is missing, your new firmware is updated, but you have not updated to that switch. All these things, all the advices of your internal configuration and all these advices will be given by the Network Insight Advisor. So next is resource. Network Insight Resources is nothing but it will give all the information of all the resources, such as what are the different, how much your memory is utilized, how much your RAM is utilized, how much, what is the temperature of your system, and what are the different logs you have used, and all these features will be given by your Network Insight Resources. So it will tell you all the details about the resources of a system. And third is assurance engine. Assurance engine is nothing but it is a reporting or what do you call auditing tool which will give you all the details about auditing part. Okay, along with all the essential advantage features, you will have all these analytics features in the premier package. So let's discuss about the next slide, that is underlay, overlay and VLAN. These three terms you will get into know when you are using the SDN technology, software defined networks, what you call. So in the underlay, what we have, we'll create a network, physical network and reachability across the entire fabric. And when we go with overlay network, what we'll do, we'll create an virtual network on the top of physical network. That's what we call it as an overlay. For an example, VXLAN is one of the example of overlay network, and your MVPN is an example of your this overlay network, and your GRE tunnels are the example of your virtual extension overlay network. So let's discuss on the VLAN a little bit. Here VXLANs are the extensible virtual LANs, which is basically came into picture when the data centers owners already have more customers than 4096. As you know, in the VLAN we can make only 4096 VLANs. If you have more customers than 4096, at that time what you will do is we will use VXLAN. In the VXLAN, we will move your layer 2 dependencies from your to your layer 3 dependencies, and we will create a VNI, virtual network identifier, and that will map the VLAN to a VNI, and then we will map that VNI to the bridge domain. Then that bridge domain is mapped to the VRS. Okay, so that's how the VXLAN will work. So let's go into our next slide. DCNM. What is an DCNM? DCNM is nothing but data center network manager. Here the data center network manager is used to manage your entire fabric, and it will give you the three features, that is automation, visibility and consistency. In the automation part, why we call it as an automation? Because here the DCNM uses the template based installation, not the CLI level installation. So you just need to enter the, you have to fill the template. For an example, if you want to create an easy fabric. So in the easy fabric, you have to put all the details such as which is the BGP ASN number you want to put, what is the P2P interface numbering you want to add, numbering interfaces how you want to add, and what is the multicasting address group you want to put. So you just need to put what you want, and the DCNM will create the configuration from his part. So once you created the configuration, you have to compare that configuration, your existing configuration and your supposed to be configuration. If that matches, then only you will able to, then it will match the configuration, and then it will update, deploy the configuration. The second part is visibility. Visibility is nothing but you can see all the switches, all the devices in your entire fabric at a single point. And when you want to change anything, you can directly click on that switch, change the configuration for each interface. That kind of visibility you will get. You can see the interface level configuration also. So on a single platform or a single web page, you will see all the topology of entire fabric. So that kind of visibility you will get. And third is consistency. So the entire network you can manage from a single point, and the configuration you can check from a single point, and you can check for the consistency of entire network on a single point. You can troubleshoot the entire thing from a single point. The consistent your existing configuration and your supposed to be configuration or recommended configuration, that has to be matched. So that comes with your consistency. Okay. The next is, as I told you, it is a template based configuration. So being as a template based configuration, it will ease your job. So you don't have to remember the command. That's why it makes your job easy. That's why it is easy to deploy. you can configure multiple profile, and you can map each profile with each fabric. So if you change one profile, it will not impact the other profile, so it will be easy to eliminate the errors. Okay. Third is increases visibility. As I told you, you can see the entire network on a single web page. Here, that increases the visibility, and that visibility will be helpful in troubleshooting the entire. If you have any errors or if you want to make changes in the configuration at that time, it will be very helpful. So next is workflow. What are the workflow phases of deploying DCNM fabric? So first thing is provisioning your fabric. Here you have to provision your fabric. Create a LAN fabric, easy fabric, different templates. You have to provision that template first. Then create a fabric. In the creation of the fabric, you have to either you have to select a fabric if you are going with brownfield deployment. If you are going with a greenfield deployment, you have to create a new fabric. Okay. So next is you have create a network phase. In that phase, you have to create a fabric. Inside a fabric, you have to create a network. You have to give the details of all the IP addresses you want to assign to the switches, subnet mask, gateways, whatever the general configuration will do at the general configuration information will give at the time of installing those information for creation of network that has to be given. Then once you have provisioned a fabric, created a fabric and created a network, then deploy that network with a single button deploy. So it will take a little bit of time, and then it will give you a great topology what we have created. Okay. So here, what are the prerequisites to install DCNM on a virtual machine? Here, the prerequisites are: if you want to install a VMware, you should have VMware vCenter server, that is about 5.5, and you should have EXSI 6.0 above, and then you should have 2 port groups at least. Then you should assign 4 CPU, 112 GB RAM and 200 GB of hard disk to the virtual machine. Of course, you should have a vSphere client to install the OVA file onto your virtual machine. So these are the basic prerequisites. Next is, once you install everything on the bare metal or on VM, okay, now the first page you will get after accessing that DCNM, this is the login page. Here you should enter your username, password and click login. Once you click login, you will get into the dashboard page. In the dashboard page, you have content and your menus. On the left hand side you have contents, on the right hand side you have, on the left hand side you have menus, and right hand side you have content. So that you have different contents, and how you use this content, how you can contents are used to monitor all these things and see what are the interfaces configured. So all these contents you will get on the right side of your page. Okay. So to deploy a new fabric, to make a new fabric, what you have to do? First thing, you have to go into the control menu, and then you have to click on add fabric. In the add fabric, you have to give the name for a fabric. Then you have to select a template which you want to deploy. What kind of fabric you want. So here I have selected easy fabric, and below there you have 4 different tabs. You have to fill the information. So just like in general tab, you have to give what kind of BGP network BGP ASN you want to create it, and you have to give multicasting address which you want to assign. So these information has to be filled, which are of star mark. Then this template will be having all the information, but you have to change that information based on your requirement. Okay. So similarly, you have to switch into advanced tab. You have to give the information. So you will go till last end of these 4 tabs, and then you will have the discovery option. In the discovery options, you have to here you can enter a seed IP or auto provision. So auto provision is something different. Advanced concept. I don't want to discuss in this slide. Just I want to give you the brief about the DCNM here. So let me go with only the discovering the existing switches inside your network. So once you have a network, you will connect your in-band connectivity and out-band connectivity, and then you will have to give one IP address of the switch, which is the seed IP, and once you have given that IP and username and password of that switch, and click on the start discovery process, it will automatically discover the remaining switches if you have assigned that IP. Okay, once you have got all these switches on the discovered page, you can import those switches into your fabric. Okay, once you import all the switches into your fabric, you will see the topology like this. In this topology, you will have you can change the roles of the switches. Just you need to do a right click and click on the set role option. You can set the role as a leaf, as a spine. These different roles can be set by just single right click and selecting the roles. Once you have did all the role selection, your topology is ready. Now, if you want to make a VPC pair, you just have to do what? You have to right click on the switch and click on VPC pairing. In this VPC pairing, you will get the options just like to which switch you want to make a VPC pair. He will give you the options. You have to select any switch in that option, and then that's it. Your VPC pairing is set. If you have to do the same thing using CLI command line, you have to write a code of around 40 to 50 lines. Okay, so in a single click, the VPC pairing is done. Okay. This is how simple the DCNM deployment will give you the options. Okay, now you have deployed VPC, you have entire network, you have entire fabric inside, and now you want to see the statuses. What are the status of my commands which I have executed? So you just last page you will get the status page. In the status you will get success, or if you have any, something goes wrong, then it will give you the error in that page. So the column which I have marked, that is the success page, everything is fine. Then we'll move to the next thing. Okay, this is how you will deploy the entire network. Once you get all the success status, your network is ready to go to the production. Now you can make changes, or you can run your production network based on your requirement. So this is how we are going to use Nexus switches and DCNM together to manage as well as to connect your leaf spine in a spine and leaf technology. So if you have any questions regarding anything, you can reach me at amir@netsoftit.ae. For your time and your patience, I'm very humble, and I'm very thank you everyone for attending this and making this possible. So if you have any doubts, if you want to make if you want me to make any other technical discussion video, just let me know on my email address. I will be happy to assist you. Thank you.